if we want to find out who the influencers are, let's put a system, a commerce platform, including a point of sale system, in the places where those people shop, i.e. in the wineries. And so basically that's how we're able to capture all the data of the market influencers, who they are, and then the next step is then to leverage their influence by giving them the ability to tap into their social networks and broader to bring more people up into the wine buying arena.
Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. Today we have with us Richard Owens, founder and CEO of WithWine, a software company that is revolutionizing the wine industry's commerce and payments infrastructure. Richard, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Now, Richard, WithWine has processed over $200 million across 1.3 million orders. So that's a really impressive scale. Now, how does this data actually advantage position you in the market, and what's your vision for leveraging this to become the largest wine company in the world?
Right, so basically when you want to dominate a vertical, any vertical, you've got to find the influencers and leverage their influence. So basically, the beauty about the wine vertical is that all the influencers are the people who are already buying direct from wineries. So, you know, when you go to a restaurant, for example, and the waiter hands someone the menu, and then there's a bit of a debate about who should be picking the wines that day. And invariably, the menu will then get passed to the person who is the wine person sitting at the table. So, you know, the person who goes to wine festivals and wineries direct already. So basically, have you heard of that saying, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king? Have you heard that?
Yes.
So basically, that person who eventually got the menu, they might not be a sommelier, but they've got a slightly more idea than everyone else at the table. So they're the ones who got past the menu at the table. And basically, that makes them the market influencer at the table. And what made them the influencer was the fact that they buy direct from wineries. So basically, what we're doing is going, okay, well, if we want to find out who the influencers are, let's put a system, a commerce platform, including a point of sale system, in the places where those people shop, i.e. in the wineries. Right. And so basically that's how we're able to capture all the data of the market influencers, who they are, and then the next step is then to leverage their influence by giving them the ability to tap into their social networks and broader to bring more people up into the wine buying arena.
Amazing, very compelling indeed. Now, speaking of your market position, let's talk about your high-profile clients. Yeah. So you've secured impressive clients like Treasury Wine Estates and Endeavor Drinks Group. So how do these relationships actually factor into your expansion strategy, particularly as you're looking to grow in the US market?
So there are two answers to that. I mean, the first one is really this industry, the wine industry, is very much built on trust, right? Mm-hmm. So basically, if you're a software platform and you've got a lot of little clients, I mean, that's good, but really the little guys don't have the budgets to do the DD on software platforms the way that the big guys do. So the fact that we've got some of those big clients is really good for the little guys to see, so that then they can go, okay, well, if the big guys are using them, then it must be half good. The other thing though is that we always see those big clients as an opportunity for us to jump in the deep end and basically build out the capabilities that they need, knowing that if we can satisfy that large end of town, we'll be able to then satisfy the longer tail of wineries. So it's a bit of a twofold benefit that you get there. But really, you know, some of those big guys, they obviously they push you to develop features that they need, but then ultimately that's what makes the platform stronger and better for the broader market.
Absolutely, and it's clear that you're making very significant inroads in the industry. Now, let's zoom out for a moment and look at the bigger picture. So the global wine industry is projected to grow to $640 billion by 2030,
yep,
which is a significant shift towards direct-to-consumer sales.
Yes.
So how is WithWine uniquely positioned to capitalize on this trend?
Right, well, going forward, and we're actually in a very interesting time in history, right? Because basically we're now in the middle of that transition from the boomer generation into the Gen X and the millennial generation. And the Gen X and the millennials combined are a bigger generation than the boomers. Now, the thing is too, is that those millennials and Gen Xers, they won't put up with paper order forms, and they won't write their credit card numbers on paper order forms. And they also don't want to have to go to multiple websites to buy wine from multiple brands. And so really, there is no app, well, apart from WithWine, there is no app for those people to make it easy for those people to buy direct from the wineries. And so we were just looking at that going, okay, well, let's produce the app, make it easier for these people to engage with the wineries and hand their money over to the wineries. And really, that's why we see ourselves in a very unique position, because we're the only commerce platform that the wineries are using that also is a public-facing brand, a consumer-facing brand. So really, we're the only ones doing this, which means as we grow, our position is just going to get stronger and stronger.
I understand. Very compelling outlook, Richard. Now, I understand that you have a key technological development in the works that could accelerate your growth. So your upcoming point of sale app rebuild seems very pivotal to your strategy.
Yes.
So can you elaborate on how this will impact your revenue streams and market expansion, especially in the USA?
Right. So first of all, when we built our first point of sale app, Stripe didn't have terminal. Certainly, well, they didn't have it in the US, but they didn't have it in Australia either. And basically, so when we built our first point of sale app, the wineries were using an external payment gateway to process those payments. Then Stripe released Terminal. We integrated with it, obviously, because payment processing is a key part of our revenue model. And the current point of sale app is we're processing payments for 27% of the volume going through that. In this new point of sale app, we're going to be processing 100%, right? So that's going to have a very significant impact, a very quick and significant impact on our payment processing revenue. That's really point one. And point two is that in order to be able to cater to the US market, there's a lot of calculation that has to go into calculating all the cross-border taxes, all the if this then that rules that go into shipping wine within multiple states, because every state in the US has a different rule when it comes to are you allowed to sell alcohol? Yes, no. How many cases can you sell to a person within a given state within a given time? And so basically, if you're going to be catering to that market, you've got to be able to have the facility to abide by those regulations. So really, that was the other thing with this new point of sale app that we've been building, is that it's able to factor all of that into account. And really, this point of sale app was really the final piece that was stopping our ability to grow in the US. Now, the reason why we want to grow into the US is because it's a very lucrative market. So we've already got a small toehold, but obviously we want to expand that. And just to give you an idea of the size and the scale, we've got one US winery who produces the same revenue as 3 of our top wineries in Australia combined. Right?
Wow.
It would only take 10 wineries processing around about $5 million US per year to then double our GMV going through the pipes. So the US market is very lucrative, and also too, I think our product and the uniqueness and innovation that's built into our product is very well understood in the US market as well, because for direct to consumer, they're so much further ahead than the Australian market. So our sales pitch lands much quicker over there as well.
That makes sense. And it definitely sounds like this could be a game changer for WithWine.
Yeah, well, really, whoever's got the best point of sale usually wins, right? Because the point of sale, you're at the base of the supply chain, right? The point of sale is what's kept up to date every day without fail, and also it's the thing that's been used every day, but it's also the thing that collects the most data. So that's why it's so important. And a lot of our competitors really sort of put point of sale as like an afterthought. Most of them will have the point of sale running within a browser on a laptop. So they don't invest in it the same way that we do, because we're really seeing the point of sale as something quite integral to collecting the information we need to then capture the data on the market influences, and then, like I said, leverage their influence.
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant, Richard. Now, WithWine has shown a 34% 3-year compounded annual revenue growth. Now, that's truly very impressive. So, what are your projections for the next 3 to 5 years, and what key factors will drive this growth?
Right, so we want to get up to a $5 million revenue within the next 3 years. So we're currently at 1.5. We want to get up to 5 within 3 years. That's really what we see as the minimum amount that we'd want to consider before considering an IPO to give investors an exit. Key to that are really two things. So obviously expanding our footprint or expanding our existing share of the market in Australia is one, but really growing the US presence. Like I said, getting a couple of wineries in the US makes a huge impact to our revenue. So really that US expansion, and I'm not talking about trying to boil the ocean over there, just a very sensible growth of what we've already got in the US market, that'll have a significant impact on revenues. But then the big one really is the commission revenue that we'll be getting from our WithWine app. Because rather than making a couple of percentage points on payment processing, in that app we're making 25% commission. Now, we haven't factored that commission revenue into any of our projections yet, because at the moment it's all, put a finger up in the air and see. So we don't want to put that number into our projections yet. And that's really why we're doing this small bridging round at the moment, is because we want to get some data to see what those amounts could be and should be, so that we can factor them into our projections, because then obviously that'll have a pretty significant impact on the company's valuation.
I understand. Now, Richard, as you prepare for a larger capital raise, how will you use the current $500,000 for the bridging round to validate your commission model and enhance the scalability? Also, what specific milestones are you targeting to attract further investment?
Right, so this bridging round, as I said, is pretty much all about validating that commission revenue model. So a big chunk of it is going to be put into marketing, in particular of the WithWine app. So at the moment, the WithWine app is out there, it's generating sales, it's generating some commission revenue as well, but we haven't put any dollars behind it. So basically what we want to do is show that if we have an input of dollars in marketing here, it produces an output of revenue there. Now, in terms of what those milestones are, again, really, we just want to see dollars in has a market improvement on dollars out, and that's what we'll be using to validate the commission model in time for the next round.
Amazing. Very exciting times ahead for WithWine for sure.
Cool. Thank you.
Now, Richard, thank you so much for sharing these wonderful insights about WithWine's innovative approach to the wine industry. And to our viewers watching this interview, if you would like to get in touch with the team at WithWine, please see the details at the side of your screen or in the description of this video. Once again, thank you, Richard, and our team wishes you all the luck with your venture moving forward.
Thank you very much.